Greetings, 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 greetings. Greetings, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Monday. Monday mantra today comes from my office in Beverly Hills. I have an early meeting here, had an early meeting here. And so I'm going to do the Monday mantra from here today. So good morning, hello. Today I want to talk about one of the toughest subjects. First of all, let's thank our sponsor, caffeine. Good morning, caffeine. Oh, that is so yummy. Just let me decline that. I want to talk about one of the most troubling aspects of business, which we all fall into, myself included. Let me just check the live stream on this side. Yes, we're good, we're live there. Which is execution. The art of execution is, it truly is an art form, and it's something that over the years I have managed to, I'm not going to use the word perfect, but it's something that has evolved and changed and, you know, trial and error over the years has kind of delivered a system to me that is pretty damn simple. And I'm going to go over it all for you right now. I'm going to give you 3 bullet points to start with. And then I'm going to kind of do a bit of a deeper dive into it to kind of break it down. When it comes to those of us that work in the business of sales, those of us that work in the business of prospecting, the best advice I can give to anyone regarding this subject is when dealing with clients, you essentially have a sphere, right? You have a sphere of interest, or you have a sphere of clients that you're working with. Remove all opinion of them. Meaning, don't put them in a hierarchy of, well, he's a better guy, he's a nicer guy, he's a this, he's a that. Naturally, we have A's, B's, C's, and D's, but remove your actual opinion of the person and treat everybody the same. This may seem like pretty basic stuff, but this is something I had to learn, because when you're in sales, it's one's natural instinct to think, you know, well, this guy's going to give me a bigger commission than this guy's going to give me a bigger commission than this gal, and you kind of define your hierarchy through your opinion of the client, which should never, ever, ever be related to how much money you're going to earn off them. So remove all opinion. Second thing is this: blindly stay in action. Meaning, when you've done a task, don't think, what's the most important task I need to do next? Blindly just do the next one. I'm a big fan of lists. You all know that I love my lists. So I just have a list, and it's like, okay, call this guy, follow up with this guy, follow up with this gal, call this gal, speak to this guy. I don't go through my list going, well, you know what, he's a bit of a dead duck, so I'm just going to put him to the bottom. She's okay, but she's not quite ready yet, so I'll get to her after lunch. And then I'm going to deal with these 3 red hot ones, because that's all I want to do. I want to make sure that I deal with them first. Big mistake, in my opinion. Stay in action, don't deviate from the order. Back in the day, there was a system that I used where it used to spit out a random contact list on a daily basis from my A's, my B's, my C's, and my D's, which I loved. I never questioned it. I used to have 25 people that I wanted to reach out and contact, and I just, like a robot, started at number 1 and went to number 25, and there were people in there that I'd be like, they're never going to do anything, or they're never going to work with me, their father's a freaking realtor. And guess what? I pulled so many deals from people that I never thought I was going to get. And then those people that I thought were dead certs, a lot of them went away. So it's really important that we keep our client base unopinionated. Categorized only by, ABCD, which I won't cover now. We talked about that before. But staying in action and staying in execution, right? If we attach opinion, and we attach, here's the really big one. This is the key to everything. This is the key to business, in my opinion. The next word I am going to utter can change your business life. That is expectations. If we remove expectations from our service, our business goes boom. If we remove, well, I really want to get this $15,000 check from this guy, and if it doesn't work out, it's going to really piss me off because I put all this time into it. If we remove our expectations and only remain in service, the universe gives us a big and keeps sending us more and more and more business. Here is my favorite phrase of all. When going for it, right? You're thinking, well, I don't have time to execute all of these people. When going for it, we live in America. What is the worst that can happen? Because of technology, we all have a massive safety net. What is that safety net? The worst that can happen is we end up driving Uber, which isn't that freaking bad. If I'm in California driving Uber around the streets of Los Angeles, being able to put food on the table and support my family, that is a pretty freaking good contingency plan. So I'm never going to fear taking risk and going for it. I want to get into some kind of structural stuff now. I've read all the books you can imagine. Well, not the books. I've listened to a lot of podcasts. I'm a very slow reader. I've watched a lot of YouTube. I've watched all the greats, everybody you can imagine. And I'm going to give you a figure now, which you've probably all heard a million times, but I'm going to give it to you again anyway. 80% of successful people is about the mindset. Only 20% is about the execution, right? And here we are talking about execution and the art of execution, but 80% of it is getting yourself amped up and having the correct kind of philosophical outlook before you can start pounding through your lists, or you can dive into business. And I always dive into business with a mindset of being in service, which I learned from somewhere else, and it took me a long time to learn that, but it stuck. So if I stay in service and out of expectations, my business goes boom. I'm going to tell you a story about an old friend of mine, Richard Humpty Vision. Some of you in the Los Angeles area and outside of the LA area may know him. He used to be my partner back in the day in the 90s in LA when we were producing house records. He told me a line that really stuck with me, and that line was, Pete, Chief, well, he used to call me Chief, 90% of it is showing up. He used to say 90% of it is showing up and suiting up. Because in the music business, people are notoriously late and flaky and this and that. And he said 90% of this gig is showing up on time and showing up when and where you promised to be. And if you do that consistently, the jobs will come. And they did, and we were very successful. I want to talk about the ugly words of winning and losing, right? Winning and losing are two really epic words that we are drawn to or run from. Here's my take on winning. Winning does not mean you are better. Winning does not mean you're better than the guy standing next to you. What winning means to me is that you are better at not quitting. I see this in my industry over and over and over and over and over again, where people will try, 3 months of door knocking, or 3 months of expireds, or 3 months of networking, and nothing sticks. It don't take 3 months, it takes years. Social media strategies take years to really take hold. They take hold in a much bigger and better and badass way, in my opinion. But all strategies take time. So winning does not mean you are better, certainly not in business. Might do in sports, or not even in sports. It just means that you are better at not quitting. You're not a better person. What happens is over time, when you're running in a direction, God knows I've had this my whole life. When I set up PLG, when I wanted to be a record producer, all my mates, even my family were like, you're crazy. Just get a job, play in a band on a night, and you'll be fine. And when I hear that from other people, it did sometimes make me feel like quitting. I want to talk now about something that I learned from my lovely wife, Cindy. I want to talk about one of the most valuable lessons I have learned in my life, and I learned it from her. She has always said to me, when you look outside for validation, it means you're on the slow road to internal death. Let me repeat that because it's really powerful. When we look outside for validation of who we are and what we're doing, It is a slow road to internal death. So what do I mean by this? It means we should never need anyone to give us a slap on the back, tell us we're doing the right thing, give us a high five. We should be able to give ourselves a high five. We should be able to recognize our own work. Because one thing I've learned along the path is this. I worked with a bloke by the name of Glenn Danzig. And he said to me another line that stuck with me when I was in the music business. He said, dude, if you're looking for loyalty, get a dog. Because I was kind of working with these guys and I was hoping that I was going to get some, get a slap on the back. Now, being recognized is great, but there is nothing more pure than if you can look at your own work and be happy with it yourself without anyone else needing to say, good job, thumbs up, well done. Because sometimes people don't do that and I've seen guys begin to crumble. I'm going to finish with these last 2 or 3 things. I'm going to finish with 2 things and then a little caveat at the end. Stay out of auditing and evaluating each action and keep the end goal in mind. I'm going to say that again. Stay out of auditing and evaluating each action and keep the end goal in mind, right? I'm a man who loves big goals. I like big goals and I like to break them down into smaller goals. But sometimes and every day I stay in action even if I don't necessarily see the correlation between action and result. That's expectation. So I stay in action every day, every minute of every day, because I know in my gut that it's bringing me closer to my big goal, right? It's like there's a famous thing in The Secret that says, if you can drive a car from LA to New York at night, right? You know that the road is going to get you there, but you can only see the 200 feet ahead of you. If you just keep following those 200 feet and don't worry about getting to New York, you eventually get there. And that's how I have done everything in my life. I have a big goal and then I stay in action and out of expectation. And most importantly of all, I have always been guided by my spiritual barometer. I have veered off the path. I've never done anything slimy or crooked. But sometimes in my earlier years, not in real estate, but in music, maybe I was a little self-serving here and there. It's awful. It feels yucky. And it just leads me down a dark path. So I'm going to finish with this. Big finish, people. Big finish. Stay in action every minute without auditing what that action means. Of course, let me start again. I stay in action constantly with my big goal in mind, and every decision I take is guided by my spiritual barometer, and I remain in service. Because people, what is the worst that can happen if we all just frickin' go for it? If we all just go for it, what is the worst that can happen? We're not going to lose everything because we live in the United States. We have a safety net. We're not going to live under a bridge, most likely. We're not going to lose everything and be in abject poverty. People, it is our duty to go for it. Our country was founded on this. And so I implore you all, go for it. Go for it, go for it, go for it. What is the worst that can happen? The art of execution is over. Thanks everybody much for joining me. Thanks very much for joining me. I'm seeing all the names go up. I do need thicker glasses. Thank you all on Instagram for joining me. Thank you all on Facebook, whoever you are. Well, I can't see because the phone's flipped. And I will see you all again this week with lots and lots more stuff. Until then, mwah! Adios. Bye. Bye, Instagram. Bye, Facebook.